I love it.
Why does that noise keep happening?
Something's unplugging. It might be this.
Oh, I think it's fine now. Hello? Or do we want to do a sound check?
Sound check.
Sound check.
This is a sound check.
Sound check.
You adjust up here, I'll go downstairs.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, with that? Oh, just keep talking? Hello?
Yeah. I'm happy to be here for this sound check. Let's probably get a little closer. Get right up on that microphone. How's that?
Sounds a little bit better. Let's see. And then I need to get rid of the studio mode.
Yeah, get
so
rid of
then
that.
we could see. Does that sound good, Mark? Oh, that sounds very good. Can everybody hear it? Downstairs, if you can hear this, say that you can hear it.
Yay!
Oh, thank you. So, whether you like it or not, this is the first Let's Play and Listen with Moth Staircase. I'm Moth Staircase, and the first one is featuring bfod. Give a round of applause. Also, if you don't know, we're upstairs in the bird's nest. So we can see you, we can hear you, and all that stuff. Feel free to still have a conversation while this is happening, and feel free to keep playing games. But let's give a round of applause for bfod. Wait, I can't hear you. Please give a round of applause for bfod. Wait, I can't hear you. Please give a round of applause for bfod. That's more like it. Anyhow, some of you might be like, that sure is a funny name, bfod. Would you like to introduce yourself and let people know why you're very important and the first guest?
I have a stupid name. My parents gave it to me. I spent most of my life being embarrassed of my name. And to overcome it, I started putting my name in my game titles so that people would have to say it a lot and I would get used to hearing it, and it works. Yeah, that works.
That's good. I mean, is it a normal name in... Wait, were you born in the UK or Australia?
In Australia.
Australia.
Yeah. Is it You're asking, is bfod a normal name? Yeah, no, it's not a normal name. But my parents, they wanted to call me Birkin.
Why?
It was in a D.H. Lawrence novel that they liked. Yeah, they're like Birkin, like a Birkin bag.
Have you read D.H. Lawrence?
Yeah.
Was it good? Did it live up to your name?
I'm just glad I'm not called Birkin. It was really bad. That would have changed my life in a kind of negative way. I don't think I could have embraced bfod in the way that I've embraced bfod as a name.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Maybe you would have still been in cut copy if your name was Birkin.
Yeah.
Has anyone here in the audience heard of cut copy before? No one's heard of cut copy. Well, I'll pull this up real quick, but Cut Copy was a pretty big pitchfork band back in the day.
You're just killing them right now. They would be so sad to hear.
Wait, what? Oh, do they? Yeah. Oh, they're still around, right?
Yeah, they're still. They're just rolling over in their grave like they're non-grave.
Well, I mean, at least I heard that earlier stuff. Honestly,
yeah.
Before I knew who you were, that you made games,
yeah.
I thought they were really good. And the first album that you weren't on is when I stopped listening to you,
nice.
Or to them,
yeah.
But it wasn't intentional.
I'm gonna make them watch this.
I don't recognize, none of these are all new albums.
Yeah. They have 5 full albums. Yeah, I'm on
Uh,
one.
Copy first album.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's pretty good. Yeah, it's got this like your classic iconic hipster looking imagery.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. Apparently I don't know how to use. Let's see. If I search cut copy, do you think it'll be an old song or a new song?
Yeah.
Oh, 14 years ago. Oh yeah, the audio's off, so no one can hear this, but you can see what the video looks like. So you played the bass on this, right?
Not on this one. The previous record. This is the second record.
Oh, this is the second. Oh, so that's nice that you weren't on this this album. Let's see. This one. You're on this one?
Yeah, I'm on that one.
Can you like remind us of what your bass part sounded like?
Yeah, it's like one note, just forever repeated.
Yeah, and what did that sound like?
It's like, just one note. You just imagine one note.
Which note? I can't imagine the specific one.
I didn't always know which note it was. Like one time I played a whole show on the wrong fret. And
That's like Sonic Youth.
yeah, I figured it out about halfway through the show. I was really like sad. And then somebody came up after the show and they were like, "Hey, Bennett, like awesome bass playing today. Like that was so good." And it's like, "Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you."
That's nice. Anyhow, let's play some video games now.
Yeah.
So the concept for this, what's happening right now, someone said, "Oh, is there a show happening tonight?" And I explained to him what was going on. And then he's like, "Oh, so it's not a show, it's an event." So the concept for the event is that there are games down there where you are. Oh, and I see some of you playing some of them. And you're supposed to play these games, and we're going to talk about the games that you're playing, and then we might talk about some other things. Does that concept make sense to everybody downstairs? Okay, whatever. This is the first game that I wanted Bennett to play, and it's called Cakefoot, and it's made by the game developer Frank DeMarco, who is an ex-Baby Castles person and the co-developer of Scrapeboard. And he made this for a game... And he made this for a game jam in 2019 that I ran at Baby Castles. And he's also making a new version of this for coolmathgames.com.
Nice.
So you have the controller, right? Oh, you're playing right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you looking at the stream screen or are you looking at my computer?
I'm looking at this. Is it bad? Should I be looking at your computer?
I don't know. Do you care about input lag?
No.
Oh, that's kind of a cool opinion. Because you play some fighting games from time to time. Is that correct?
Time to time, yeah, but not in a way where input lag would make any difference.
Oh, yeah. So you're not very good.
No.
I remember you saying that Second Impact, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, is better than Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
It's definitely true.
Are there any of those fighting game guys here today? Yeah, there are some of them.
I heard someone say it's true.
The person who said it's true, can you yell why you think it's true? Oh, you don't want to yell? Are you like scared? Can whoever's near him peer pressure him into yelling why Street Fighter 3 Second Impact is better than Street Fighter 3 Third Strike?
Yes. It's got native widescreen. It's got better bonus games. It's got better pixel art. It's got better character lineup. It's just better.
Oh, yeah, and that's... was Chung Li in that one, or she was introduced for Third Strike,
That's
right?
Third Strike, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they could have left her out, to be honest.
Do you know what sucks? Is fixing a video game so that it's better for pro players. That's what's bad. Nobody should ever do that. I think it's a common trap. You hear mostly from people who are really playing the game a lot, who are really serious about it. They've got all these strong opinions, and you're like, they probably know my game better than I do. I got to do everything that they say, and everything they say is really smart. Like they're really good.
So you're saying most fighting game players are kind of stupid when it comes to game design?
No, I just think like they want something that's different than like they're a breed apart. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think about Sakurai,
Sakurai,
who designed?
the Smash Brothers designer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love his videos.
Oh yeah, those videos are pretty good.
I love. I don't mean this in a mean way. I love that he's willing to say really basic things. I think that's. No, really, I don't mean that in a mean way. I think that's really important. He's not trying to seem really super expert all the time. Like, oftentimes the basic stuff is not as obvious as people think it is, right? And so I think he's not scared with his videos. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people are pretty basic, and he helps out most people, and I think that's pretty good. Is there anything you wish you would do in those videos that he's maybe not doing?
Yeah, he should talk shit about people's games from the 80s.
Is there something specific? Do you feel like he's too lenient on a specific game?
Well, he just doesn't really talk about other people's games. He's got like a team of artists or something who will do an animation to demonstrate something that he could just show, like Sonic the Hedgehog or Great Gianna Sisters or, like he doesn't ever do that. He's afraid to talk shit. I don't know.
Oh yeah, and tonight I think that's one thing I want to bring to Let's Play and Listen at Wonderville. Is I think I want to talk, just because I'm anonymous, I think it's a good venue for me to just start talking shit about whoever's game, maybe your game, maybe some friends of mine's games, maybe some of the games that are at Wonderville. I can talk a little bit shit about them and have no repercussions.
Yeah. I love that. It's the magic circle.
So what do you think about Cakefoot so far?
I want to know, is this in reaction to Line Rider, or is Line Rider after this?
So this is, are you saying Line Rider, or do you mean Line Wobbler?
Sorry, Line Wobbler. Yeah, thank you.
This is, I
Thank you.
think, in reaction to Line Wobbler.
It's interesting. You got a lot more affordances than Line Wobbler has, right?
Should I turn off the reverb and delay?
Yeah. Yeah. Either turn it off or turn it way up. Yeah, that's helpful. It's better.
I turned it down because I still want it for the distance.
Yeah.
But not. This is better, right? Everybody downstairs?
I love it.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, continue about Cakefoot.
But it aesthetically, what are the aesthetics of this? It kind of reminds, like the very, very tiny sprites. I feel like that's an idea that is due, like I'm ready for games we've got all these 4K displays. Everybody's got like really kind of retina displays everywhere, but nobody does really tiny sprites. And this is partly because you've got it in a tiny little window and I'm looking at it from far away, but I like how small everything is.
I could full screen it, but yeah, I mean, you can see what's happening right here. Oh no.
Oh my God. Oh geez, what have you been watching?
I don't think there was any way for me to.
That's all right. I was enjoying it.
Well, you'll have to do the first level once more.
That's right.
But you like the kind of.
Well, 'cause like Line Wobbler, I can't go backwards, right? Like if I push the stick at all, it's going forwards. So it's like I don't know. It's like a one-directional thing.
Well, if you let go of the stick,
Then
you'll
it goes
fall
backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen this before. There's something kind of like real golden agey, like a Dave Thura game or something like that about
Dave
this.
who?
The guy who made Tempest,
Oh yes.
Missile Command. Is that the same guy? I think it is. Yeah.
We could look it up, but we're not going to.
But yeah, I like it. I kind of wish it, had like Jeff Minter style sound effects that I could hear. Like,
There are sound effects. It's just.
Is it like a cow mooing, or like a person screaming?
It's kind of like chill out. It's like a chill out vibe.
That's not what I would have done. I would have done like a Solarian 2 type of like a Wilhelm scream.
Oh, like it's like really freaking out the player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea. I feel like the visuals don't go with that, but I know what you mean experientially.
I mean, do you ever play Solarian? Do you know what I'm talking about? Solarian 2?
Yeah, sure. Should I pull that up?
Yeah, pull it up.
Is that how I spell it?
You almost got it. Solari.
Oh, it's like Mass Effect. Oh, yeah, I know this game. Wait, S?
Solarian 2. Yeah. Two,
And,
the number 2.
yeah, I don't know what this is.
That's what I meant. It's perfect.
Wait, 2.
Yeah. Just the number 2. There we go.
Okay, do I have to download this?
Yeah, I don't. No, you can't.
I can't?
Yeah, you're not
Have
allowed.
you tried?
I mean, just get a YouTube of it.
Oh. So it's... Wait, what is this? This one.
Yeah, that's it.
And what do you like about this game?
This is, I don't know, like there's a certain kind of thing about small, edible-looking sprites, right? There's a bunch of old click-and-play games that have this too, like Destruction Carnival is a little bit like this. I remember I was watching a documentary about this painter from Australia one time who is very famous for this kind of impressionistic paintings where he puts little dots. Fred Williams from Australia. And they were saying what's good about a Fred Williams painting is that it looks like you could kind of reach into the canvas and like pick up the things and eat them. And I get that out of this, right? It's like they're all like, all the art styles are a little bit different. Nothing really sits together, but you could like pick, they're like candy.
It's like a little bit of a jelly bean effect.
Exactly, that's exactly it. That's what I like.
Yeah,
So I'm
I
getting
like
that
this.
from this game too.
I feel like even Jeff Minter's games have a lot of this style, like especially like those little llamas in Llamatron. As really like there's like a little hamburger floating around. It feels like I just want to take the hamburger and just eat it. Yeah, really colorful.
Everything's really separate.
Yeah.
I love that.
So we're gonna go on to the next game. Oh, that's our DMs, our personal DMs. We're going to play this game.
Oh, you picked a personal favorite of mine.
That's great. Is there something you want to say about this before we start playing?
I made a clone of this game and I hid it inside of Sports Friends back in 2013 or whatever. This is Fight of the Sumo Hoppers. It's a freeware game by Demoscena from Finland. It's one of the first great physics games.
Yeah, I don't know if I did the button mapping correct, but we'll figure it out together.
Okay, just use the keyboard if not, right?
Yeah. Also, I'll say this is the second best game in Sports Friends. Oh, and then it takes forever to load. Do I have the other version of it open? Oh, yeah, I do. Let's see. Should be right here. Okay, there we go. You shut up. Okay.
All right. Oh, I'm blue.
Oh, and then we press start to retry.
What you're pressing something that stops it. Key error on the left, it says. Oh, it's the mapping.
Oh, new game. Or you? Oh, so I put it on the.
Oh, on
the
there.
face
Okay,
buttons.
yeah, okay, got it. Shit. Yeah, that seems better. We're still pressing something that's. It's restarting it.
Do I have the right droid key?
We can always switch to keyboard.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Lay that in there.
Yeah, so part of the reason why I didn't set this up with keyboard is, I think it's like insert home page up and then the bottom 3 number keys
Yeah.
and then delete, which is pretty weird.
Okay. F2 for a new game.
Okay.
I'm green now.
Wait, so why do you like this game?
There's something beautiful about this style of like martial arts. You know, just the idea that they're kind of hugging each other, but it's also they're murdering each other, which is incredible. But also, like, you get so many different outcomes.
Yeah, this is, I think just like the fact that you're just moving your legs is really interesting. We are doing something that is pausing the game.
So we're resetting it somehow.
Ooh, nice. I don't know why that.
It says key error on the left. You're pressing a key that's disallowed or... There we go. It's good for reversals. That was amazing. I love that you can beat somebody like 10 times in a row or 100 times in a row, and then they'll figure out how to get you is like a good part of this. Your Street Fighter could afford to have more of this.
Oh, this like unpredictability.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have won that one.
Yeah. I wasn't pressing anything. I think that was you. I love this kind of gently putting somebody down onto the mat as well, just gently pressing their head. Like there's nothing you can do here.
Oh. I think the real game is figuring out what key is disallowed. Ooh, wait.
I think that was me. I lost. Yeah. But I just love the, I don't know, there's something kind of very balletic about it. It's so simple, but it's sort of beautiful.
Looks like you have 23 on me. I'm catching up now that I know the controls. It feels a little bad in this game when you're just like laying someone down.
Yeah. But I don't know, there's something kind of good about that. Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe the page up is mad. You try not pressing anything. Okay, so it's definitely a key we're pressing.
Let's see. Ooh. Wait, were there no other games like in this style back then?
So Microsoft Decathlon has like a shot put mode, which is a little bit like this. But no, I mean, because everybody wanted to have graphics, you know. These guys are spending the whole CPU on just like the physics.
Yeah, I mean, I think the physics in this feel pretty, honestly, moving your legs around feels pretty nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I think the best part is it's like, there's definitely a little bit of like that quap energy of like, oh, you move this body part and then this other thing moves, right? And it's a little bit like that frustrating element.
So when I was riffing on this, I set it to be able to like, it was like first to 500 was the winner. Like that to me is like, that's the nature of this. Like every round is like 3 seconds long, which is kind of incredible. And you can like be losing, you can be like, we had games where it was like one person was like 250 points behind and they still managed to kind of creep back. That's incredible. You can never do that in Street Fighter.
I remember there was like, didn't your characters turn gold or start sparkling or something once you got to... Yeah. There was one time where we were like, oh, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
And then we found that. And it was pretty rewarding. I mean, I'm glad you put that in.
Yeah.
made it, it's a pretty elegant game.
Yeah. And you can put little flourishes on. Like what I did for sports friends is I give them some flex in their arms, which means and I also let you kick off the other person's head. And so you've got like more options. If the other person's trying to put you on the ground all the time, you can kick off their head. It's Yomi. I don't know. It's good. Credit most of that design. Like everything that's good about that design comes in the original, though. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I like the simple art style in your version as well. We're going to kick off with another game, and some of you might be familiar with this game.
Nice.
And it's called Foiled. If anyone's familiar with this game, it's pretty good. There's a cabinet for it here at Wonderville, but we're also showing an older version of Foiled. Do you have the
mouse is down there.
the USB? And the reason you probably know why I'm showing this game,
Yeah, roughly.
it's because Gabe is a close collaborator to you.
Yeah, so I met Gabe when he was 19, and Charles Pratt sent him to me to get some help on this game.
On this game.
Yeah, which he was working on as like a sophomore film student who didn't want to be doing film anymore.
So what did you add to this game?
Great question.
And the controls are a little bit funny on Xbox. I think it's left. Oh, you already remember.
Yeah, I got it.
So
how do you jump? How do you go down again?
Jump is A.
That's right. Yeah, that's
going
it.
down is right trigger.
Yeah.
And the up slash is left trigger.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you want to go to those.
So there's not like, unlike the version on the cabinet over there, there's not really like a forward slash. You just run into people.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it has that like basic. I think the reason why they did that, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but it just feels like, oh, how do I differentiate this a little bit more from Nidhogg?
Yeah, right. Well, Eggnog came out because it was in this period of time where people had played Nidhogg or they knew about it, but it wasn't out, and you had to go to like a hipster party to be able to play it.
Yeah.
And one guy released a game called Eggnog, which was like a rip-off of Nidhogg, and Mark Essen was really mad about it. Felt like he'd been scooped.
Yeah.
Even though it was like a demake.
Yeah.
So yeah, you had to kind of steer clear of that a little bit. I don't know. Gabe was on the fencing team at NYU.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, so he was like, he's kind of make what you know kind of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just played a lot of games and tried to kind of take stuff away from it as far as the kind of scoring scheme and everything goes.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting thinking about this coming from like a realistic perspective. I think especially because it has like so much of that platform fighter sort of element to it, where like I would say Nidhogg, part of what's good about it is it kind of feels a little bit more of the language of like a regular 2D fighting game like Street Fighter or something. And I think like these platforms in Foiled kind of make it feel a little bit closer to like Smash Bros, kind of like your like Kirby or something in Smash Bros, which is part of I think what I like about this. So you've been working with Gabe quite some time at this point. How's been working with Gabe on your current project?
It's good. We went on baby steps for like 3 years now, something like that. It's a long time. We did Ape Out before that.
You did Ape Out before that.
Well, I mean, I helped on. I didn't do most of it, but I was there for like the last 1/3 or something, doing art stuff on it.
Oh, you were doing the art, like the art, just like working on the shaders, or?
Like there's more art in there than it looks like. You've got to like, it's a lot of little level design modules and textures and stuff. He did all the art direction. Like, that was all locked down. I was just helping him to finish it.
Yeah, and I guess I'm curious. I've wondered about this just in terms of the art style in your games over time and how it's evolved. How did the art style in Baby Steps come about?
That's a great question. Depends what you mean by the art style. I was shooting. There's this artist who works using Art Breeder, whose name is now escaping me. It's like this image that looks really, really captivating. It's this kind of series of things with candles and landscapes that I got like fixated on, and I was trying to recreate that.
That's interesting because I feel like there's an element of it that has that sort of getting over it style where it feels like it's kind of like asset store,
Yeah.
but it looks like a little bit more custom than that.
Yeah, that's true.
So is it asset store kind of stuff or
It's
are
a
you
mixture.
making-
It's a mixture. I'm doing more personal art than I did for getting over it. But
Oh, okay.
there is a fair amount of assets. Wow, you are really good at this.
Oh yeah. When I was at the game center, I played this version of this quite a lot. So I think I'm maybe a little bit even more used to this version of the game than like the actual, like the more finished version.
The art in this version is by another current indie developer, Sharon.
Aaron.
Sharon now, yeah.
Sharon.
Takawis.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I like her art style in Into the Crags quite a bit.
right, yeah.
This is obviously very different. I kind of, maybe it's just because I'm so used to this art style, but I think I definitely like this more than the current style in Foiled.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's is Gabe Spanish?
Oh,
Gabe isn't Spanish, I
not
guess by
Spanish.
the laugh.
No, it's not.
Is anybody on the team Spanish?
No, nobody's, nobody's Spanish. Yeah.
That's
Is that bad?
it's not bad, but I think you kind of get like with this game, you know, like you're making what you know, and I don't know why, but there's something like a little Disney art or like the what is that? There's like it's maybe like a knockoff Disney movie where
This or the cabinet?
the cabinet,
Right. It's meant to be like Zorro.
Zorro. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking there's like a Atlantis movie, El Dorado. Yeah. Whoever said El Dorado, it does kind of look like that El Dorado. Is that Disney or is that other company? I think it's that other company. But it kind of looks a little bit like that. Which I think the art looks good, but there's something a bit funny about it.
I've never been owned as much.
Oh, in this game?
You're owning me right now.
I'm not even thinking, to be honest. Wait, did you get any points?
No.
Okay, let's go. Let's go again.
Maybe I got a point. Yeah.
Do you play many competitive games just in your free time?
Kinda. I played a bunch of the most recent Need for Speed multiplayer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you like about that?
The feel, I guess.
Oh, I definitely was holding the analog stick, and now I'm just going left.
Do you think that's gonna make me stop killing you? Because it's not.
Let's see. Restart. Does it work now? Oh, did you see that? I guess I have to quit. Well, let's open that again. Yeah.
You feel like you got enough
I need to
points, yeah?
continue to win.
You need more points than what you got.
Yeah, just a couple more points. I think would be pretty good. All right. But yeah, I think this game is really good.
Yeah.
It's also funny looking at the itch page because I downloaded this on itch, and it was saying, "Oh, I played this at Magfest and I really liked it." Oh, weird.
No, I'm red.
Now you're red. Wait, is the other just AI? What is going on?
Oh yeah, that's AI. That's what's going on.
Oh, okay. So let's go to main menu. What's going on here?
Maybe one of us. No, there we go.
Oh, I know what's happening.
Oh, we're both the same joystick.
Yeah. Let's just do create new. Okay. Is this working now? Okay, that's what was going on. Um.
All right.
Oh yeah. What were you saying you liked about Need for Speed, the new one?
It's just Need for Speed. I don't. It's got a nice pressure luck mechanic. Like you have to bank all your points
Yeah.
as get more and more cops coming after you. I don't know. It's not. It's not high art. It's just fun.
I don't know why. I've always kind of written off Need for Speed for some reason, and I mean, I don't think you would have the similar experience to me. But basically, when I think about Need for Speed, there were like a group of Vietnamese kids that would say the N-word a bunch, and they would only just talk to me about Need for Speed.
Interesting.
And they would be like, "Yo, what up, N-word? You play the new Need for Speed?" And I'd be like, no, I haven't played it yet. So I think that's kind of kept me from playing it.
Okay. Fair enough.
I maybe not fair enough, but I did really like the Burnout games. Did you ever play Burnout Paradise?
Yeah, I like Burnout 3.
Oh, that one's a little bit more arcadey, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, and then I have to do the finish move. Yeah, I just love this like red guy sitting on top of the yellow guy.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's missing about the final cabinet. Was it Charles Pratt's choice to add the Spanish guys?
Yeah, let's say yes.
Okay. Now I get it. Yeah, I think the art's good. I'm excited for like the new characters. I want to talk to you about another game that is here at Wonderville. There's a game called Black Emperor.
Yes.
That is, I would say that's like a fan favorite. I would say like some of people's most favorite game here is Black Emperor.
Yep.
And I wanted to ask you a couple questions about it. So
Go
back
for it.
in the day,
Yeah.
Black Emperor submitted itself to the NYU incubator.
Yeah.
And for some reason it didn't get in.
That's true.
Yeah, and I'm wondering,
Yeah.
do you have any inside knowledge about why it didn't get in?
It's a long time ago.
That's
Trying to
interesting.
start shit here. I love it. I love your approach.
Yeah, I think that game's really good. I mean, I also wonder if it got into the incubator, it probably just would have never gotten finished. He probably would have just gotten really depressed and stopped working on it. But I think it's a good thing that Bumblebear picked it up.
Nobody should work on their like thesis or capstone game after they graduate. Just seems like a bad recipe.
Yeah.
But no, I love that cabinet. It's great. The game makes so much more sense to me as a cabinet than it did as a like a game on a laptop. You know.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially with the wheel, or even I think it's better than being on mobile. I feel like if it was a mobile game, I think it just would have gotten lost in the sauce.
Yep.
A little bit, even though maybe it would have made more money or been more of an obvious thing. I think it would have just gotten lost in the mix with everything else.
I mean, I've made a lot of like really super minimalist games that have like one mechanic and just do that one mechanic, and that's one of them, right?
Yeah.
I think that back in like 2013, 2014, whatever it was, when Tomas graduated,
Yeah.
I think we were gripped with the idea that indie games had to be like more than that. And I think commercially they still do have to be more, but I sort of, it's weird, it's sort of difficult to recapture the feeling of that time, like the optimism, the commercial optimism that people had, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, like I'm going to make like a fly wrench type game and I'm going to be able to make a living off of that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, didn't Mark make any money off of Fly Wrench? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, but like, everybody now wants to run like a 10-person studio and support everybody,
Oh, yeah.
have health insurance for all their employees. And
Yeah, that's like the key to why 2008 was so good, is because no one had health insurance. And I think you can see that in Indie Game the Movie. I think Tommy and Edmund were specifically complaining about how they didn't have health insurance in that movie.
That's true.
Which is good. I think maybe we can hold off on giving people health insurance. Get a couple good games out.
No, I mean, obviously, it's good that you can support yourself and you can support all your friends now, kind of, except it's like the same amount of money split many more ways. There's a lot of people who just are kind of like getting burned in a way that they wouldn't get burned back in the no health insurance days.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And thank God for Wonderville for employing me, because if I wasn't employed over the summer, I wouldn't be able to eat. Yeah, I know they're applauding for Killer Queen, which is give it up for Killer Queen, everybody. Did everybody come out to play Killer Queen because they knew music wasn't happening today? Sounds like that's why a little bit why people are here or sticking around. Have you played much of Killer Queen, Bennett?
I have. I've played a little bit. I've never played competitively, really.
Yeah, it sure is a certain kind of scene, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, do you actually know about my story with Killer Queen?
No, go for it.
So I used to go every Friday for the 5v5 Fridays at NYU, and me and my friends were on the worst team possible. Like we were kind of like seen as a joke or whatever. We were like really bad, but we like kept going every week and we were competing, and we were actually trying to get pretty good, but it was just everybody was such like so much like a higher level that we just couldn't even deal with it. So basically, it kind of all culminated in there was this one night where we were all playing, and Charles Pratt's team is facing my team, and basically he seals all the gates, right? I'm the queen. I'm not able to open any of the gates, and then basically they're all warriored up. And then none of the people on my team are warriors at all. And basically, there's one thing that could happen in this previous version of the game where you could basically step on someone's head in a corner. So if you're a worker, you can like jump on someone's head, and you can get them stuck in a corner. So you can get the queen stuck in a corner if you jump on their head as a worker. And basically, he did that like as soon as the game started. And just kept me like stuck in this corner, and basically the whole 5v5 Fridays was just laughing, and they were just like, and everyone was just like cackling and like losing their mind, and then my whole team just left, and then they never came back, and then Charles sent me like a Facebook message apologizing to me. Which I'm glad he did.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
You got me again. I was doing better that time. Maybe
All
we should
right.
just have you tell a
Should we?
story
Yeah,
every time.
let's play.
All right, let's play
a different one.
That's a
So
good
I
game.
had. I'll show you this game because I have two more games. This game isn't shown, I guess, in the room. But this is another game that I wanted you to play. If I can find out where did I put the game? Let's see. Hold on, just a second. Is it here? Hold on a second. Is it K?
Yeah, how many indie-pocalypses have we been through since we started running that incubator?
What do you mean by indie-pocalypses? You mean just like
I think people mean lots of
teams?
different things. Yeah, lots of different things.
You mean just teams falling apart, or do you mean...
No. I mean, the idea was in 2013, indie game in the movie, there's like money everywhere, everybody can make an indie game.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh shit, there's too many people doing this now. I can't, like, I have to compete too much. It's like very, it's like all these games are failing. It's not really doing what. That's Indie-pocalypse 1, right?
Yeah.
But then every year subsequently, people have declared us later Indie-pocalypse, you know.
I wonder why that is, because I think part of it is definitely a saturation,
Yeah.
but I think it's also what indie means is kind of like a little bit different each time.
Yes.
And I think some of the stuff that's like really good or has been really good for like the past, I would say like 10 years or so, is kind of like in that zone where it's like, oh, there's this saturation, but then there are these smaller communities that are doing things.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And then it's just like, I think the people that are doing weird things are making things that are just like not accessible to people outside of like a certain point of knowledge.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of like, I think people who were making indie games kind of got relaxed. Either they got relaxed or they were just bought up by like Microsoft or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little bit weird just because there's not really like an in between. And I think the other big thing that's kind of like a determining factor of this is like there's kind of like for like an indie musician, you can go on tour and you can make money and you can make merch and you can make money that way. But for an indie game developer, you can just like sell a game that you can just steal online anyhow.
Yep.
There's like no version of like touring for, I guess, like an indie game developer. Like there's no other way. I mean, there are other ways, but I think it's just a little bit inaccessible.
I think there was this period of time over the last 5 years with like the VR boom, and there's like Annapurna, and there's all these companies like offering people like big bags of money to make an indie game.
Yeah.
And it means that a lot of people went from like working in very small teams into like, oh, now I'm running a studio with like 10, 20, 30 people. And a lot of the kind of norms about like sharing feedback, interdependency, all of that sort of stuff don't really make sense in that situation. Like I had a friend from Australia recently asked me to give feedback on their game. They're still at all the indie events, right? They're like a self-described indie developer, but they have 50 employees. And they wanted to pay me to give feedback on the game. And I was like, like don't offer to pay me. Like that's so non-interdependent, right? Like that's so, like he's being kind. He's like trying to pay me for my labor, and I appreciate that. But it's also like, I don't know, like it's sort of contrary to that norm. But I also then was realizing like, he's got 50 employees, right? You can't not be paying people for doing stuff, right? It's just a totally different world.
Yeah, it's kind of complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, I offered to pay you for this, even though you have maybe, or not maybe, you have way more money than I have maybe $38, and well, I need to cash some checks, but yeah. But I was just like, oh, the merit of it or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything for free, and I don't expect anyone else to either.
Totally. Yeah, no, I think that's right, but there's like a lot of like, between teams who are of a similar size, working on similar size of projects, there's a lot of quid pro quo.
Yeah.
And it gets weird if like, even if it's like coming from like, I don't know, like if we were both running podcasts at arcades in Brooklyn, and I was getting you to come on my thing, and then I was coming on your thing, it would be weird for us to pay each other every time, right?
Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyhow, here's a game by Photocopydora called Quad Death Core Meltdown EX.
Do I need the mouse for this?
Um,
Or your
does it?
controller?
I think
maybe?
it's just.
Maybe it's the other controller.
Try this one.
Nope, something happened. Oh.
All right, yeah, there you go. So this was a game, I think also, I think I'm diving into the bin of a lot of 2019 games for some reason today. But this is like kind of like a physics speedrunning game that was posted on Glorious Trainwrecks. And I feel as though it was like right before, remember when all of those like Quake-like games were coming out? Those like speedrun Quake games. It was like around like kind of that time. It happened kind of at the same time as all that.
Did you play Super Tits Rush?
Super what?
Excuse my language. Super Tits Rush is what it's
Oh,
called.
I saw you post about it, but I never actually played it. What's good about that game?
It's just a similar kind of genre to this.
Yeah. I'm curious. Did you play Neon White?
Yes.
Yeah, what did you think about that?
So here's what happens to me in those sorts of games. I go to the first, so if you haven't played Neon White, it's all built around speedrunning, and it shows you all of your friends' times after you finish a level. So what I will do in that situation is I will replay level 1 over and over and over again until I have like the absolute best score, and then that's it. That's the end of
And
the
then
game.
you'll just burn yourself out on just that.
Well, no, I only want the first score that you see.
Oh, that's interesting. The rest of the game is pretty good. I
Yeah.
think it definitely gets better.
It's a problem with me. It's not a problem with the game.
I mean, I definitely have that too, especially when playing Neon White. Maybe not quite to that extent, but I'll be like, oh, I'm going to get first place
Yeah.
out of all of my friends before I move on. And then usually I just like stop after a while. Usually I'm not able to do it until like I guess I figure out more stuff about the game, then I'll
Yeah.
come back. Yeah, I guess I'm also curious because your games are very like skill based,
Yeah.
right? I don't know. Have you made a game that's not been skill based, like actual like physical exertion?
That's a great question. I think I made a strategy game for the Playdate.
Oh, I still haven't played it. It's the ninja one, right?
Yeah, I'm worried you're going to ask if I'm Japanese. I'm not Japanese.
You said it. You said it. I didn't say. I mean, I wasn't gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you
could
if
ask
Gabe
somebody.
was Spanish,
Yeah.
but I wasn't gonna ask you if you were Japanese or
Yeah,
not.
fair enough.
But you're not Japanese.
I'm not, no.
Okay. Wait, you've made 2 games with ninjas.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. My first ever game was Ninjas.
Yeah, that game was pretty. That game was pretty. Why did you choose ninjas for that?
When I was a kid, this is the worst way to tell a story about video games. Every game I played was about ninjas. I consider it to be like an important part of my history. Ninja mania in the 80s.
Yeah.
I wanted a set of nunchucks. I wanted a rubber shuriken. That was my world.
Did you ever get nunchucks?
No.
I had some foam ones and I got pretty good at them, but they're not very good as like an actual weapon.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong here.
So you want to do a little jump? I think the tutorial section of this is like a
Oh, I
little
see.
obtuse,
I
but
see.
I think you want to do a small jump and then you want to charge it. Yeah, you could also wall run up the walls.
That's interesting.
Yeah. This game is definitely has a little bit of that, like, I don't know, what would you, because you've talked about levels and flavors of frustration.
Yeah.
What does this have, an umami flavor? What kind of flavor does this have?
This is, Moochie calls these games like being momentum pilled, right?
Yeah, I could see that in Moochie's games.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has like a little bit of that. And I guess what do you think about that, like, momentum kill flavor?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, this is, for me, is like everything is like, you get a hint that maybe you can do something, and you sit there for like an hour trying to do this thing that maybe you can do and maybe you can't do. Like that, for me, is a type of play that I really like.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's about skill so much as it's about like this kind of weird boneheaded persistence. Like, I can do that.
Oh, and just like figuring out like the muscle memory of kind of like, oh, what works and what doesn't work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll figure out new tech. You know, Killer Queen has this, right? For a little while, everybody was like, oh, you can do this thing where you like stick yourself to the ceiling and, you know.
Oh, ceiling scraping.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what they call it now. They might call it something different now.
Yeah. I love that shit. That's great.
Yeah, this has like a weird charge system. I think the thing that I figured out. Oh, you're doing some kind of cool stuff right now. Ooh. Yeah, you're definitely getting higher up.
Yeah.
You're definitely getting higher up. I guess I'm wondering, because you haven't revealed much about your new game.
Yeah, baby steps.
Yeah. Are you able to discuss the mechanic of it
Sure.
at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's visible in the video that we shared, sort of. You press the triggers to lift your left and right feet, and you walk by pressing. You move the analog stick to move your feet.
Oh, so you're like, you hold the trigger and then you move the analog
Exactly.
stick.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
You can crouch by pressing both of the triggers at the same time.
So it's kind of like you're doing. I think what's maybe the thing that has been very inspirational to me about your games is like, oh, you're thinking about the physical part of what you're interacting with. Like, co-op and GURP, you're like, oh, it's like about the keyboard and like how you're interacting with the keyboard.
Right.
Getting over it is a little bit of that, but like with the mouse.
Yeah.
And I guess this is interesting because I guess this is a little bit like, how do you do that with like a regular Xbox controller?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yes.
guess.
So you're kind of like just exploring what it means to make a game about triggers, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like the first game that I saw that kind of did that was Katamari Damacy, or that's the first game that at least. Now, I'm not saying that's the first game that's ever done it, but that's like the first game that I ever played that was kind of like that.
Right.
Was there a game like that for you, where you felt like that synergy between the controller and what you're doing is happening?
It might have been Marble Madness back in like 1985 or something like 1986. I would have been playing that in an arcade.
Did that come out before or after Crystal Castles?
I think after Crystal Castles, it was when there was still people were messing around with trackballs a lot, but it was like the most literal interpretation, right? Because you kind of are the trackball.
Yeah. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Crystal Castles is like, if anyone here has played Crystal Castles, that's like a game where it immediately just doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
Like you're, I guess, like a bear.
Yeah.
And you're just like running around, but like you can't control your momentum super well. I really like that game, though. I think I actually prefer it to Marble Madness, but I think Marble Madness has that uncanny, almost, like it like gets out of the uncanny valley pretty well.
Marble Madness for me, like, I think the great tragedy is it was supposed to be produced with a trackball that would roll itself, so that like as your marble was rolling around, it would be like force feedback, like the whole marble would roll itself, and it would be exactly like a one-to-one thing.
Yeah.
It was too expensive, so they didn't do it. But that's a tragedy to me. That would have been the best video game ever of all time.
Yeah, it would have been pretty good. Do you prefer, maybe that's the first game like that you played, do you prefer any other trackball games? Because I know there's quite a few, and you introduced me to Snacks and Jackson.
Yeah, yeah. That's not a good game.
You don't like that game, why not?
It just doesn't really make sense. It wants to be a mouse, I guess. No, Golden Tee is incredible. Yeah.
Oh, do you think that's the best of the arcade golfing games?
Yeah, easily. Golden Tee 4.
And am I mistaken? Is that the SNK one, or am I thinking of? That's a different. The SNK one is a different.
That's
one,
a different
right?
thing. Yeah.
What is the SNK one called?
I'm not sure I've played that one. I've played their bowling game.
Yeah.
I don't think I've played their golf game.
That's interesting.
All right.
I guess I'm curious just because I feel like both of you are doing kind of similar things at the same time. I guess I'm curious, do you have a favorite Keita Takahashi game?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, it's probably Katamari Damacy. That's the one to like. I like the spirit of Nobu Nobu Boy. I like the kind of fuck you aspect. Right? Like
that's probably my favorite,
Yeah.
of course.
It's the funniest.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes, and maybe this is definitely something I wanted to talk to you about, was I feel like there's a lot of games that want to be funny, or they have jokes in them, but they're not really funny, or at least I don't think they're funny. Like, for example, Monkey Island.
Yeah.
I'm not really into.
That's opposite your sense of humor.
Yeah. It's like a little too I think I'm having trouble thinking about exactly what it is about Monkey Island.
I'm gonna try to formulate it for you. I don't think you like having your jokes provided, right?
I think that's a little bit. Yeah, when I think it's like you're like pointing at this and saying, "Oh, you're supposed to laugh at this."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of mugging. Like, there's all these moments in Monkey Island games where he looks at the camera. It's done
Yeah.
like some kind of stupid joke, and they look at the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of follows up to, do you think your games are funny?
Yeah, I shoot for that. It's often like not a type of funny that people think I'm going for. Like, I'm not really. It's not the slapstick. The kind of things that are funny to me are like little level design jokes. So I was doing this thing in baby steps where it's like there's this normal path. It just goes up. It's kind of looking over a cliff, but it's very easy to walk over.
Yeah.
And then on the cliff, there are these kind of wooden rungs that you can just choose to walk on and
Yeah.
lose all your progress.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
to
oh,
me,
but
that's
you
a-
just like
That's
don't need
funny.
to do it at all.
You don't have to do it. It's there just to kind of dare you. Like, that sort of shit is funny to me.
Yeah, and I think that's what I really like about QWOP and GURP and Getting Over It is it has that sort of. I mean, I think GURP has like a little bit of that sense of humor, especially with the bird and
Yeah.
what's going on with the bird.
Yeah.
But well, I guess spoiler alert. That's going to be the last game that we're playing.
Okay,
is,
all
is
right.
GURP, which I would say, and you can. Well, first, let me ask you, what is your favorite game that you've made?
That's a good question. A lot of people say GURP is the best one.
It's not just me?
It's not just you. This is like actually a popular opinion.
Oh, it is. I felt like that was like the hipster contrarian sort of answer is GURP is the best one. Do you see why people think that?
It's elegant, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, is this? I'm picking one to play, or one to have made.
Oh, well, I definitely want to hear the answer to both.
I'm really happy to have made GURP, but I don't want to play it.
Why not?
This is kind of thin, like
Yeah.
basically.
And what was your favorite to make?
My favorite to actually build? That's a good question. I really liked making QWOP because it took like 2 days.
That's always the best is when you just kind of do it and then you're
Yeah.
like, oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, exactly. But if I was going to play one, it would probably be Get On Top, the Sports Friends version.
Oh, yeah. That game is so addicting.
Yeah.
I should have gotten that one out for people to play, because I would say that's definitely like that's maybe number one or two, also for me.
Also, the game that I made with AP Thompson, Multi-Ball.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wasn't even considering that. Multi-ball is really good. I guess I'm curious, what brought about that sort of collaboration? Another collaboration with a student.
Yeah. I had already collaborated with AP. AP had been making Stair.
Which one is that?
Stair is called full title Stair, Slide the Blocks to Ascend.
Oh, yeah. That was a mobile game, right?
Yes, that's right. And he was complaining to me that he didn't have anybody to do the art, and so I just offered to.
Oh, that's good. Oh, I didn't realize that was your art, but now it's pretty obvious that it is.
So that was the first one, and then I don't know. I had this idea for multi-ball, but I can't program for shit, so I needed somebody who was actually a proper engineer to help me.
Yeah.
And he was available and willing, so it was great. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that game is super good because it's like, I feel like you get a bit of your taste in games in there,
Right.
Which I think is something that, I don't know, it's a little bit hard to do that in just a regular game.
Yep.
And I like the kind of possibility space of that kind of thing. Are you familiar with Johnny Hopkins?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you played his Tetris games?
Moochie and Johnny and Darwin, I guess, had like an exhibition of those things.
Yeah.
So I played them all there. I love that stuff. Yeah, I think similar kind of idea of like intervening on emulators as like a kind of material property that you can make games out of is kind of interesting to me.
Yeah. I will say, just as a side note, I think Getting Over It is the best looking of all the games that you've made so far.
Thank you. Yeah.
Does that make you? Does that feel weird because it's all stolen, or not stolen assets, but like bought assets? or do you think that's
No, I mean I
good
think
thing?
it's an art direction. Asset flips are an aesthetic. It's not like you get the overall look of the game out of it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm super. I guess I'm also curious. We've talked about this before, but just like the thought of like finding new games or like where you find indie games, and I think that's kind of important to the topic we were talking about
Right.
earlier about the indie
Yeah,
apocalypse.
totally. Yeah, discoverability is a thing that went through an apocalypse as well. Like it used to be that there was like a small handful of indie games on Steam, and those people had health insurance,
Yeah,
and everybody else was in like anonymity and like making flash games and stuff.
yeah.
Um,
But
but yeah, no, now there's like you can be on itch along with like 100 million other games.
I guess my question to you is there a solution to this issue? Or what do you think the solution might be?
I think the solution is for people to try to seek out the interesting stuff and to share it with each other. Honestly,
Yeah.
like it's on people like you and me to solve that. It's not on the developers of the games to solve it.
Oh, so like maybe like a just broader community of things or
Yeah, just sharing taste, right? Like it's weird how many people like you look at a Reddit thread. It's like, oh, what was your favorite game that was frustrating to play or something like that, and they'll be like, oh, Pokemon, Zelda, right? It's like there's so many things, but people have to be told. I mean, it's not they're not. It's got to be like taste sharing and shit.
I think one question I have for you is maybe do you think it's on people like Tim Rogers to do something like that, and why hasn't he done that?
Well, he popularized Boku no Natsu Yasume, right?
Yeah. Well, that was kind of known on Tumblr before he talked about.
You want him to popularize this kind of thing?
I know this maybe. Well, so I think maybe this is part of it. Is I know that he likes some things that are like this, but I also think he has like he's gotten into this like sort of brand.
Yeah.
Like he kind of feels like, and I really like Tim's stuff, but he has this sort of air of like hype beast taste.
Yeah.
Does that kind of make
That's
sense?
totally right. Yeah.
And he likes a certain sort of like clean thing, or at least now he does.
Yeah.
But I feel like he used to talk about Bonky Trek and games like that previously.
Well, I mean, the thing is that Tim is not really doing recommendations, and he's not really doing reviews. He's doing essays.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense to have something that's a bit more of a kind of Titanic position in hype-beast culture.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cyberpunk video that he did is about the concept of hype, right? You can't really make it about this game. It's not.
How are you feeling about it now that you're
Now that I've made
about
some
30
progress?
minutes into it?
I love it now that I have made progress. I love the aesthetic. The kind of brown is great.
Yeah, I feel like there was a moment where this got really out of style.
Yeah.
Like the 360 era.
Yeah.
I feel like people talked about like the coffee filter or the dirt filter.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's kind of coming back a little bit with like the boomer shooters. But I feel like even the boomer shooters, there's like more of like a, and this is going to sound a little corny, but like a vaporwave
Yeah.
vibe to them or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of like this like gritty like dirge of like these like stretched out textures and things like that.
I wanted to do Xbox 360 kind of aesthetic for baby steps.
Oh,
It's
it
like
definitely has that.
well, it was like shooting for that, but modern AAA shit starts to gradually seduce you. Like I was like, yeah, we're definitely doing like PS3. That's what we're shooting for. And then was looking at like Uncharted 2, which is PS3.
And that game doesn't look very good.
Like, is that really how this looked? I thought this was the most beautiful game ever. I'm looking at it, it's like, this looks like dog shit. I was like, hold on. Let's look at Uncharted 3. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. I'm looking at it and going, no, this looks bad too. Let's at least, like, we've got to get real. Let's look at Uncharted 4, right? Like, that I remember being, like, totally real. And not even that long ago. And I'm looking at it being like, are you for real? Is this really how bad this game looks?
You know what game actually really holds up from the 360? Actually, Xbox era. Have you played Ninja Gaiden?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you played that game, or what do you?
Not seriously. Yeah, I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
All of
game
those
looks
Itagaki
beautiful.
games are really too hard for me.
Oh yeah. Oh, too hard for you.
Yeah.
Does it? What flavors does it have, or maybe not have, in terms of difficulty? Or do you not like stylish character action games?
No, I like them. I tried to play Sekiro. I mean, I really like a deep lover of the Souls games, and I tried to play Sekiro, but at some point, I wish I could blame it on old age, but I just have never been able to do that kind of thing. Like, I just don't have reflexes. Never have. Never going to. I don't know what I would have to do to be able to develop that.
They're also very long and have like a huge buy-in.
Yeah.
Where like, I think that's maybe what I like about your games is even though they're very hard, they have like kind of a small buy-in. You know,
Right.
like they're not going to be that long,
Yeah.
but it's just like your fault that you can't do whatever the game's demanding you to do.
I thought that getting over it was really long. It took me like 7 hours to be able to beat it.
Oh, really? Initially.
And everybody I was having to test it to was taking like 7 hours.
Yeah.
And now it takes 1 minute.
Yeah, there's somebody who came here. I'm not sure if they're still here or not. But do you know Sam Lee? He's beaten your game very quickly. Is he in that secret community of people that have beaten your game?
Oh, I'm not in. I'm not in that community. I'm not taking any credit for being good at my own game. All right.
Yeah, you're getting pretty good at this. I'm actually, I don't know if I've ever gotten this far in this game.
I've discovered some tech.
Yeah. I think maybe you can go up that waterfall,
Yeah.
but I'm not like 100% certain. I also know that if you're 100% for too long, you'll explode, which is something
Seriously?
that I accidentally did.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's so good.
it's a little bit because when it
I'm
happened.
stressed.
Oh, sorry if that added to the stress of
Yeah.
you playing this game.
Here we go. Shit.
I
love that.
think you can get it.
That mechanic rules.
Yeah, I love the kind of momentum you get. It kind of feels there's like a realness to that jump boost. Even though it's like I don't even know what the character in this game is, or like what you're doing or what it is.
It's a marble. It's got some madness.
Oh, it's good. I was worried for a second that people weren't playing the games, but it looks like people are playing the games,
that's
and that's kind of the idea. Because part of why I started doing this is because there'd be so many events here.
Yeah.
But it'd be music,
Yeah.
and it would be like hard to play the games.
Yeah.
And I wanted there to be like a certain level of boring conversation where you felt like you could ignore it, or you could just listen to it and play the games if you wanted to.
Yeah.
One thing I was hoping that would happen, which I hope is happening, is I'm hoping someone's just playing the game and using listening to us as an excuse not to talk to anybody.
Totally.
Which I don't know if that's actually working or not.
I
But
salute that person.
I think you're going to get up this hole.
Is there even a hole there? I can't.
I think there is, but I think maybe you do want to go down that other one.
Yeah.
But also I found that this game is a little bit non-linear, and
Yeah.
I'll just go down one part, and that's actually you'll just take me to a different part of an earlier section that I was already at.
Right.
So, yeah, maybe it is about just going this way.
There's a whole. There's no mouse. There's mouse look or any like first person view.
No, it's just the arrows and the space, and that's it.
I kind of love it.
Yeah,
What's it called?
This game is called Quad Death Core Meltdown EX, and it's made by Photocopydora. Are you familiar with their games? They frequently collaborate with my friend Gishbrecht, who's made the Binky games.
Okay.
Have I ever shown you any of the Binky games before?
No.
I guess I'm curious what you think about them. I guess I picked a curation of games that I would say, oh, this kind of relates to your stuff this way.
Right.
But then I was thinking also, I was like, oh, should I just get some other thing that maybe is not within your wheelhouse at all? And then but I didn't do that. I don't know why.
Well, I don't just play games that are in my wheelhouse. I'm a big fan of like puzzle games as well, thinky puzzle games.
Oh, so like Increpare
Yeah.
style games?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a favorite of his puzzle script games?
Oh, that's a good question. The penis game.
Oh. I was hoping you would say that. Is it so? There's a couple penis games that Increpare's made.
Yeah.
I think my favorite is the one where you're pulling your. I'm like, what is it called? Your pubic hair.
Yeah.
You're like your pubic hair is stuck in your foreskin and you're trying to pull out your.
Oh yeah,
pubic
that's
hair.
amazing. Yeah. Forgot
Or you're
about that one.
you're-
I'm talking about the one where you're trying to get the penises into the holes.
Oh, that one's pretty good too.
Yeah.
You like that one more than the foreskin hair
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's against streaming or not, even though it's like a cartoon.
Yeah, you can't show
Penis.
that.
Are you sure?
No. Okay. But, they'll demonetize anything.
Yeah. I'm kind of like amazed how quickly he can turn out these puzzle script games.
Yeah.
Have you used puzzle script at all?
I have, yeah.
What have you not published? Whatever if you just toyed around with it?
Yeah. I had a game that was like about a parking lot, and then I kind of realized that it had been done. So I can't.
Was it just that mobile game?
Basically, yeah. But it was before that came out. Have you played that game that's like, it's by the Katamari Damacy studio, without Kata. It's called, those games?
I've seen
Yeah,
it, but
yeah.
I've not played it yet.
It's interesting.
You like it?
Yeah, I mean, I played a bunch of it.
Yeah. I'm working on the game I'm working on now. I'm actually making some 4-player versions of some of those games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, is this like too silly or not?
No, I'm for it.
Okay. Because I just like the idea of like, there's something about just copying them so directly
Yeah.
that is like, oh, it's funny because we're just doing it.
But they don't exist, right? So there's nothing to copy.
No, they do. There are versions.
Are there? I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
the ones in the ads don't exist.
No, there are versions of them.
There's definitely pull the pin exists, right? Like,
Yeah, pull the pin exists. What else is there? There's the one where it's like the lava drops and all that.
They have like math games where you have to like always like largest number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
They have a parking lot one where you have to free all the cars from the parking
that
lot.
one's real.
That's real?
That's real. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that's also originally a board game.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
a physical game. Yeah, all those are real. But I should play it because the packaging. I like the stick figure
Yeah.
aesthetic. It kind of reminds me of like, 2000s Flash games or
Uh-huh.
things like that. But that's Kata's studio.
Well, I don't know. It definitely is the Katamari Damacy studio, or it's made up of people who worked on Katamari Damacy or something like that.
That's cool. That's cool.
You'll definitely notice like a shared aesthetic.
Do you have a favorite puzzle game that you're playing right now?
What have I played recently? That was the most recent one, actually. I was playing Jolly No Puzzle 2.
Jolly No Puzzle 2.
Have you ever played Jolly No Puzzle?
I've never heard of it. What is it?
So this is like a. I was worried it was going to be too mid of a recommendation for you. It's considered to be one of the great hard indie puzzle games.
Oh, I'm not even familiar.
But he came up with a sequel to it not that long ago. It's just really good, solid.
Is it like Sokoban style?
Yeah, except it's like jelly.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
Everything's made of jelly.
I was trying to get through. What is it? I almost said No Country for Old Men. English Country Tune.
English country tune, yeah.
Yeah. Have you beaten English Country Tune?
I have. Can I have you gotten to their like incredible middle
it's-
level?
I wasn't able to do it, and I'm still not able to do it. But I already know.
You know what the twist is?
I know what the twist is.
Yeah.
The twist is.
Can
you
I?
have to.
You have to make a level,
Yeah,
right?
you have to make a level. Yeah.
And you're like, that's weird. It's broken. It's put me into the level editor. Oh well, I'll just make a level, and then you can't. It's like way too hard.
Yeah.
That's the kind of joke that I'm talking about. It's like, this is a joke. Is just like, hey, you think making levels for this puzzle game is easy? Actually, it's just incredibly hard, and I'm gonna make you do it. That's like a funny joke.
Oh, so I could just copy like the first level if I wanted to.
No, because it's given you a new mechanic.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Does
All
that
right.
mechanic ever show up in the game?
Yeah, you've done like 1 or 2 levels, and then the space that you have to do the kind of level yourself is like not big enough, or some kind of like constraint. But
Yeah.
you can make any level. It's like none of them are solvable. So it's really, really hard. I don't know. I have huge respect for that guy.
Yeah. And I also like Steven's Sausage Roll.
Yeah.
You've also beaten that game?
Yeah. That, for me, that's maybe the best solo-authored game of all time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What about it would you say puts it like above all others? I think I've gotten like 2/3 of the way through it. Definitely I'm very stuck. Especially when it's like you start to stack the sausages.
Yeah, right.
Then
Most
like my
people
brain
quit.
starts really hurting.
I had to keep a thought log to play that game. I had to write down every realization that I had so that I wouldn't forget it, and that I could kind of think through, which I never would normally do. I'm normally like a very relaxed player. I don't like being sweaty.
Yeah.
But no, first of all, every level requires you to realize something that's really rare and that's hard. Like it's not unique. The unique thing is like how big of a deal the things you have to realize are. It's like how much it changes everything. Like the first time that you stab a sausage, it's like, oh, what? Like, and it does that again and again and again and again.
Yeah. I need to finish that game. It's incredibly difficult. Oh, and actually, one of the other games I wanted to show you.
Okay.
You got. But I mean, that's kind of what's cool about this is like there's a bit of staging to it.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not like you're gonna get completely screwed.
Yeah. This game rules. I like it.
Let me pull up one of the next games real quick. And again, that was Quad Death Core Meltdown. And I'll pull up the second to last game. Which is Money Puzzle Exchanger. I think I recommended this game to you. Have you played it since I recommended it to you?
I don't remember it.
So, I don't know. I think this is... Oh, let me go back to Joy to Key. So I don't know if you realize this, but you actually got me addicted to this genre of game. I think introduced with...
Yeah. Cake Sucker.
Cakes. Wait, what? Do you
Sorry,
mean
Magical Drop 2.
Yeah.
That game's great.
So this is
But
pretty similar.
it's a game where you suck cakes
Yeah.
and spit them back out.
I didn't realize they were cakes. I thought they were like little gems.
I think the Magical Drop one is gems.
So I'm on the right. I guess you're on the left. And what you're doing here is you're trying to like... I'll just explain the mechanics. So you combine 5 and 5 to make 10. You combine at least 10 or 5 10s to make a 50.
Yeah.
You combine 2 50s to make a 100. And then you combined 5 100s to make a 500.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's kind of a
It's
similar...
so much more mathy.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
And then you can do some kind of crazy chains eventually.
All right, so I'm not going to be able to hurt you without making a chain, right?
Kind of. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how well you do. Let's see if I can build a chain because I don't think I haven't played this for a minute. But it's also one of those things where, I mean, you put, so basically I guess to explain why I'm showing this to you is Bennett put Magical Drop 3, right?
Was it 3? Okay, yeah.
On one of the Game Center cabinets. And I realized that's the only kind of game that I'm decent at.
Yeah.
I've also learned afterwards that there are people who are way better than me at this type of game as well. But yeah, I guess I'm curious because you put that on the cabinet. And I'm wondering, yeah, why did you choose that game? And I guess
Crushed.
you beat me. Nice. What drew you to Magical Drop 3, or why did you put that on the cabinet?
I don't know which order this happened in, but when I was working on multi-ball, I tried to play every different two-player game from history. And that meant playing a lot of this. I don't know what this genre is, but all the games are different from each other. It's not like you're just playing the same kind of like soccer game or whatever again, right? Like they all have different mechanics. I call them falling block games. It just seems like a really bad name for the genre.
Yeah.
Because there's no falling
Well,
blocks.
this is like the reverse.
Right, exactly. And a lot of them are reverse. Like Landsliders is a reverse,
Yeah.
Some of them just have nothing to do with that. But I played like hundreds of them. And it's just a beautiful genre. I wish I had the chops to be able to make games in this genre.
Oh, you wish you could if you... Wait, what about these games do you think is like
I think there's something
difficult?
it's a little logical. It's like a little bit like making board games in a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
Which is not a thing that I'm good at. Or card games. It's mathy.
Yeah.
Oh, you got me. Have you played the one that's like poker? Your poker hands are coming down. You're trying to make poker
That's
hands.
like a falling block game?
Yeah.
No, is it newer?
It's a little newer than this. I can't remember the name of it, but there's like one that's it's incredible because you're trying to solve like poker problems as well as like doing the falling block game.
That sounds fairly similar to this
Yeah,
in some ways.
right, yeah. There's so many beautiful ones. Twinkle Star Sprites is good.
Twinkle Star Sprites?
Yeah.
Well, what do you... That's a kind of a controversial
Is this?
game. and like especially like the puzzle game community. There's a lot of people who go to this place called Brooklyn Arcade.
Uh-huh.
And there's like kind of a small scene of people that play it there and that play it at Red Perry. And it's very like, I think, have you played much of that game or just a
No,
little bit?
for multi-ball.
It's funny because it's eventually it gets very like, what's the word? It's like deterministic what you have to do.
I see, yeah.
And it's just kind of like, if you're not doing these things precisely, then you just like lose.
Right.
And kind of like the magic of the game, like when you're playing it at first, it's like, there's like so many possibilities. And then when you realize, the game is just about doing, like things so exactly, it's kind of,
right.
It kind of loses the charm.
Have you played Star Sweep?
What is Star Sweep?
It's like one of these guys. It's you've got these blocks that have a star at one end, and you have to match the star in order to make them match and disappear.
Oh, actually, I have played Star Sweep. It's like these very chunky.
Yes.
Yeah. I've played this. It's been a while though.
Woo.
What do you think about? What do you think about this so far?
I love this. This is fantastic. I kind of love the mathiness of it. I'll go again.
Do you like this, or what do you think about this compared to Magical Drop?
I mean, Magical Drop is like pure combo making. It's like not really anything in the way of making combos. And with this, I have to be thinking about like math. I have to be doing sums.
Yeah.
I kind of love cognitive load games. I think they're good choke machines in a certain kind of way. I'm interested in games that produce more choking than like a regular game. I think
Produce more what?
choking.
Choking.
Right, like this is like if I'm under pressure here, if you're playing well, I'm gonna start getting my addition wrong, right? Like that's cool. I don't know.
Yeah. I think what I like about this is like once you've played it like enough, I feel like there's like that kind of like 0 level heuristic of like this math is like kind of hard to do very quickly.
Yeah.
But then the kind of level above that is like, oh, well, now I need to start thinking about the combos
Yeah.
and how to like get things to fall on top of each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's this like kind of insane level that I'm definitely not at, where you're trying to kind of predict what things are going to come in such a way where it's a little bit maddening.
So
And I
games like
think
this, like you never know if you should just be playing fast, right? Sometimes in Puyo Puyo, you should just be playing fast.
Yeah.
And in Magical Drop.
This is definitely one of those games where, just like Magical Drop, you kind of constantly want to be having things falling all
Yeah.
the time. But it's a little bit more planning than I would say like a Magical Drop
Right.
kind of game is. Whew. Let's see. Yeah, some of the
Oh,
and
wow.
then like the these like RU are definitely a little bit. If you've seen these like RU, or I feel like there's another one that I'm forgetting what it is. If you see those like will just clear one type of tile.
Yeah.
And then using those strategically is also quite I don't know. It can be pretty expressive or pretty frustrating.
God.
It's just like a big combo will happen.
Have you played much Clax?
What's Clax?
Clax is an Atari game where you have like a hopper. It's you can hold more than one block in your hand, and you have to remember which order they're stacked in your hand.
Oh.
I kind of always want that in this kind of game, is like to be able to suck more than one thing into.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's what I like about Magical Drop is you can like have. Oh wait, have you only been using one at a time?
Yeah.
Oh, you can suck up more. Like if you have.
Oh, can I?
Like if it's the tens. If you
Yeah.
have a 10, then you can just keep sucking up tens.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, that's
and then you
huge.
can also like clear next to it.
Yeah.
And then it will like fall down. So it's gonna. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! I
Yeah,
was
you don't
explaining things
you don't
about-
have time for that.
Yeah. Let's see, because you're doing pretty good. Maybe that will unlock an ability. Do you feel like that?
Yeah,
learning
that's
that made it-
extremely helpul.
I'm sorry I didn't explain that. Yeah, because it's kind of like almost exactly that same Magical Drop
Right.
sort of thing going on. Whew. Yeah, now it's getting much harder for me to play this game.
No.
Oh. All right. I think
Right.
we have. What is it? We have two more, and then we'll play the last game after this.
Okay.
I guess I'm curious. So you used to teach at the Game Center,
Yes.
and you left. I guess what was that? Is that during COVID or?
No, I did some. What I live in 2021, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems right.
Was there like a specific? Was it just basically to focus on your new game?
Yeah, we're working on something I can't be doing part time.
Yeah.
But also, like, teaching remote sucks. I don't want to do any more of it. I have some beloved students from that period, some of whom are here, and I treasure you. But teaching through the screen is very, very tiring. I don't know. It's just really hard to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I'm wondering because I wonder. Well, I feel like in previous years you would frequently latch on to a specific student and take them under your wing. Which
Yeah.
out of some of the people here today would you do that with?
I can't resist the characterization that what you're looking for when you're a professor is like, good games. Something that will spark inspiration and that you want to be working on. It's selfish in a way, you know. So that's what I was looking. I wasn't looking for like particular people. I was looking for at their projects, you know.
Yeah.
And then I want to steal their ideas. You know.
I'm sorry. I hope that question didn't distract you from playing this game.
I would honestly play like 12 hours of that. That's amazing.
Yeah, this game is really good. This is definitely a favorite of mine. And looks like I have to. I think this is the only way for me to quit this out. So
Money Puzzle Exchanger.
yeah,
What a title.
let's just pull up the last game. I'll just GURP.com
Oh.
and I'll zoom in. I guess I'll play this one. Or
Yeah, you go for it.
do you want to play this one?
I don't want to embarrass myself. You do it.
Okay, I'll play this one. I don't remember where did the chord go? I actually don't know why I did that because I have a keyboard already happening. So yeah, let's.
This was me living my dream of like making an Amiga game.
How is this? Wait, how is this like an Amiga game?
The aesthetic.
What?
The gradient in the. It's limited itself to like a 32 color palette plus gradient effects. It's the same resolution. It's one of the Amiga fonts. The whole thing is like it's Amiga style.
I think the puppet, the puppet animation is just pulling it so out of the Amiga thing.
Well, the Amiga couldn't have done that,
Yeah.
but
I guess it makes sense now that you kind of explained it a little bit.
there were some Gravatar type physics games on the Amiga, but generally couldn't really do physics at all.
Yeah. So what have you ever done rock climbing before?
I've done like a little bit of indoor wall. But I hadn't when I was making this.
Okay, but afterwards.
Yeah, I've tried it. They don't have letters on the toe holds. They let you use your feet.
Oh yeah, that's a big element of rock climbing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, because there's something I started rock climbing a little bit during the pandemic, and I found it to be. I was like, oh, GURP actually does kind of feel like this quite a bit, and I guess I'm a little bit surprised to hear that you didn't really do this beforehand.
Yeah.
I guess I'm curious, other than just like the Amiga sort of styling, what pulled you to make like? Are you just thinking, oh, this is the next sport?
This
is the next sport to emulate. Like you did running, and now it's like, what's another sport?
It was
Or did you have
2010. It was 2010, and I don't think I'd been at it for very long. Maybe I started learning to make games in 2006, 2005.
Yeah.
And I think I was just doing what a lot of beginners do, which is to look for things in the world that you can simulate.
Yeah.
And it just occurred to me, I was having lunch with my wife, and she was saying something, and then the idea for this game came into my mind fully formed, just basically minus the bird.
Were you not? It sounds like you weren't paying attention to what she was saying.
Yeah, might not have been paying perfect attention.
Was it based on something she was talking about, or were you just like disassociated?
I can't tell you what she was talking about. I do remember very clearly which cafe I was in, and like I remember having this kind of like sense of, oh, I could make that. Of course, it's constraint theory in action, because I would have made it that you were controlling all four of your limbs. The first prototype was like that, but keyboards don't support that, especially shit laptop keyboards. You need like a gamer keyboard or something.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I guess I'll have a shark bite off one of his legs, and it'll be like one leg and two hands. And then that was too many as well. And I was like, I guess he just won't use his legs. And I think actually most of what's good about the design flows from that constraint. I think if I had made it that you could control the feet, it'd just be way worse.
I agree. I feel like this game is, yeah, it's super. I feel like it's just like the sort of constraint. I mean, like, that's kind of what games are, right? It's
Right.
constraints.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But I think, yeah, you would have had a little bit too much control over what you're doing. Oh, did you
Oh,
see
geez,
that?
yeah, you saved it.
I
But this
feel
is
I'm
this
gonna
is such a
die.
thing in every artistic medium, right? Like I think it really happens in music that people, as they go through their career, they get more virtuosic at their instrument, and they get better at producing the exact sound they have in their head, and that's not always good, right? Like that's, in fact, it's usually
yeah.
bad, right? So if I had been a better implementer at the time that I was doing this, it would
Oh,
definitely be worse.
you would have just made it the 4-limb thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, somebody told me, who was it? I think Kevin Kansian told me that I was having trouble with the physics in this, and maybe it was in Klopp. I was having trouble with physics in this kind of thing, and he said, "Oh, you should go to talk to Chris Hecker, who everybody knows now is the developer of Spy Party,
Oh, really?
or the creature creator in Spore."
Wait,
But
did
what people
Spy
don't,
Party ever get finished?
it's out. You can play it. It's fun.
Oh, I forgot.
But you can, yeah, you can buy it. But the thing that he was doing between, I want to say between Spore and Spy Party, or maybe it was before Spore, he spent 5 years working on a rock climbing game that was like quite similar to this in a certain way. I didn't know because it never came out, and I don't think he even ever showed it. But he's such a good programmer, and he was like so good at the physics and the kinematics and everything. That he was doing more or less the exact kind of thing that I dreamed I could do. And I asked him, like, how should you do this kind of thing? And he's like, well, he explained to me that it was too hard for me, basically.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, I'll try to do something different instead. And that was like really relieving to me. He's always been constrained by being too smart, I think. He wouldn't
Yeah, I
mind me
think-
saying so as well.
Honestly, I think that's pretty good advice to think about. It's
Yeah.
just like, think about what you can do, I guess, before I guess don't let that stop you if you're not
Right.
able to do something.
Right,
Which
exactly.
is definitely something I've done because I typically don't really know what I'm doing at any point. But I think I'm doing decently. I'm not doing horribly, am I?
If you can get to the bird, you're doing fine.
Oh man, I think the worst part, and I think this game definitely has this, is like that. Oh, what did you call it? Like where you're kind of just like, oh, I forget what button I'm even holding.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like panic,
Yeah.
and then you just let go of everything, and you just get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like what's so interesting about this is like just like getting overwhelmed with like what's happening, and then just like letting it happen. But then sometimes you get those magical moments where it's like, oh, you press the button like as you're falling, and that's pretty good.
This is something that these sorts of games have in common with those falling block games, right? Like they're both types of games where you're having to hold a lot of state in your mind. And that's the stuff that tends to break down as you get stressed or if you're under pressure. Maybe the first couple of things that you're trying to remember are fine, but the fourth and fifth things that you're trying to remember, they drop out, which is why when you're playing Magical Drop or whatever, as you come under pressure, you'll start screwing up your own plans, right? You'll set up this beautiful combo and you just you'll screw it up. You drop the wrong thing on top of it.
Oh, also, did you play Death Stranding?
Yeah, I love Death Stranding.
You
Love
liked
it.
it.
Yeah.
Did you feel as though they were inspired by you, or do you know for sure if they were?
No, I doubt it. Everybody's going to call Baby Steps a Death Stranding type game, or a Strand type game, as Kojima calls it, which I'm fine with because it was a source of inspiration. I would be flattered if they had played any of my games, but I don't know. I was really jealous of their walking stuff. I thought it was incredible.
Oh yeah, and like all the balancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I didn't play through the whole thing, but what I did was.
You missed some real crazy storytelling.
Well, my roommate was playing through all of it, and I basically absorbed. Part of the reason I never played through all of it is because my roommate at the time was just playing it right next to me.
Yeah.
I had the whole game spoiled.
Yeah. Okay.
So I definitely solved the cutscenes.
Right. Okay.
Let's see. Am I gonna get past this part? Or is
This
my
is- yeah, this is-
computer starting to
Yeah, probably.
freak out?
Well, probably I wrote a memory leak or something like that.
Yeah. Ugh.
That's typical of my games. Is that there is at some point there is a little knee in the different difficulty curve,
Yeah.
and it's like it's not even that hard after you get past it, but it's like you get to halfway and then it kills you.
It's just like, do you think that's just like stress from the player? Or is that the level design?
It's the level design, but it's funny to me. I get you some buy-in, and then it's like, hey, it's hard now.
Well, it's 10 o'clock. I'm trying to think if I have any final questions. No, I don't have any fun. Do you have anything
Final
left to
thoughts.
say?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
I love this idea. I hope other people will also come and do it, and I can listen to them.
All right. Thanks for people who came out, and thanks for all the people who are listening.
Some people are listening. Look.
Oh, some people are listening. That's nice. We might do another one, but feel free to hang out and play all the games. And yeah, I'll see you later. Thanks again. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, of course. It's fun. We got to